Top 5 protectors in Marvel Strike Force. So obviously, again, there's not a ton of characters in this game. There's still a decent amount, though, enough to come up with a nice list here. And we're going to go on to number 5 here, which.
Well, I mean, the thing about the protectors is there's a lot of good ones. A lot of these characters can be, like 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, like basically there's a couple, there's 2 or 3 that are A, like number 1, and then the rest are number 2. There's a lot of good characters that didn't make the list, but number 5 is Thanos, right? We went with Thanos at number 5.
Yes.
And this might seem shocking. A lot of you guys might think he's a little higher, but he's just he's not quite as good as some of the other protectors, but very, very good. And they gave him a little rework, just a slight little tweak on his unique. It's when he kills a character, he's got a 75% chance to generate 2 ability energy to himself or to an adjacent cosmic ally. So if you have some characters like Thor, or you have characters, trying to think of like Cable, we just mentioned, Korath. There are a lot of good cosmic characters. You put them right next to him, and if he kills somebody, you can get that Thor stun off quick. You can refresh some of Korath's abilities. You can refresh some of Cable's abilities real quickly, and really get an edge in the battle. So that's good. He does have an AoE. His energy bomb. It does decent damage, 210% at level 6. But the cool part is it's 100% drain, just basically like health steal. So he gets to refill his health back up. He taunts first, eats a bunch of damage, AoE, heals himself up, repeat. So that's nice. Basic attack it has a counter element to it, 80% chance to counter. And then his brutal assault is his taunt, and this actually can do decent damage, 300% damage, and apply offense down, and then you gain taunt. So very good kit, which tells you the strength of the other top 4 characters. Because this is a really good kit. Great character. Like we mentioned earlier, the raid only attainable right now through the raid. So what you have is what you have. You can't really amp him up any further at this time.
Right. I mean, as an 80% chance to gain counterattack with his basic. His basic does a decent amount of damage. It actually has a really cool animation when you do take a character out. You can like choke slam a character to the ground, which is pretty awesome. He does pretty decent damage with his taunt. And he applies offense down, like you said. And while he's taunting with his unique ability, Titan Eternal, he has 1,000% extra resistance while he's taunting. On a kill, 50% chance to generate 2 ability energy to self or adjacent cosmic ally. So if you have him stacked up with other cosmic allies, like you said, he's going to be really at his best. And his area of effect attack isn't necessarily a super high damage dealing, but it does, attack all targets, and it has once you're at level 6, I believe, 100% drain, right? Which what does drain do again?
It's like health steal. Okay. So basically, the damage when you max it out, 100% drain is if he does 3,000 damage, he heals for 3,000. Like it's pretty awesome. That's a great move, but you do have to take it all the way up, as it the health drain percentages. I think. Let me double check. I think it goes up every time. So yeah, he is a character you kind of want to max out. Maybe not his basic attack, but the rest of his kit you do want to do. Every time you amp up the ability, the damage goes up. It's only 50% drain at level 3, then it goes up to 80 at 4 and 106.
Well, what's cool about him is a lot of the abilities, with some of the other characters, only pertain to a certain faction, really. And his kit is kind of universal in the fact that, I mean, even though his unique does apply to cosmic allies, you still get a benefit of 1,000% extra resistance while taunting, and that's something that's not necessarily tied to any type of restriction or anything like that. So, I mean, I guess again, a lot of people just have these kits that you don't necessarily need to max out because you're not going to gain a huge benefit from some of their abilities. Where with a character like this, I mean, you're gonna definitely benefit from getting him to max with all of his abilities, without a doubt.
Yeah,
So,
you could go without that sixth, investing the purple mats in that basic. It's not all it does. It just goes up 20% damage, and he doesn't do that much damage in his kit. So you can save yourself 120 some odd purple mats there on that ability.
right, right. Unless you're using them in your arena, then you're going to want them maxed out anyway. But moving along, our number 4 protector in Marvel Strike Force is Kingpin.
Yes, Kingpin.
Why do
Someone just in the chat just said, I think it was Drac Knight just said he just unlocked Kingpin. So here you go. This one's for you, buddy. This one I believe is the only non-taunting protector, but he does have a summon. He can summon up to 2 bodyguards. I think it's at level 6. It's 2 bodyguards every time, and as soon as you spawn them in on that move, they automatically taunt. So it kind of has a taunt, and they do 300% normal damage, but they usually just get hit immediately and die. You do get 100% normal health at the level 6 ability for those minions. And what he does is he has a lot of assist mechanics in his kit. His basic attack, you get a 50% chance to gain an assist, and then also his boss's orders, which is the coolest part of his kit. It says 20% chance for assist from allies, twice as likely to select a villain or mercenary. Lots of assisting, and then that boss's order, he grants offense up and defense up to 5 allies for 2 turns. That's incredible. That's one of the best moves or best abilities in the game. Is overall is this boss's order, and it's just a game changer. I mean, you can just spam it first move. He is slow, so you'll probably go last, do the offense up, defense up for 2 turns, and then your attackers get the next 2 turns they take, they're going to really pump out some damage, and they can eat some damage too. You can like Hawkeye, someone come in and just wipe it off, but still, it's I love him. I just got him myself. I got a 2-star Kingpin. I'm slowly just fooling around with him. But and also his Mastermind unique at the start of any villain ally turn, 20% chance for an ally to gain team attack for that turn. So it's another assist mechanic. He doesn't do much damage himself, but he calls all these assists. And assists do half damage. So
yeah, he has a great kit. I mean, obviously the Crime Lord ability, calling in his minions to taunt and do damage. That's fantastic. Boss's orders is probably one of the best abilities in the game, with offense up to 5 allies and a 20% chance for assist from allies, twice as likely to assist a villain or mercenary for assist. And then there's also again a unique here where you're not really tied to a specific type of faction or anything like that. But again, if you have a villain ally, there's a 10% chance, or at the end, there would actually be a 20% chance for ally to gain team attack for that turn. So there's a lot of assisting in his kit, and like you said, he doesn't do a ton of damage, but he's really more of a facilitator to the rest of the team, kind of like a like I guess the conductor of the orchestra. I guess you could call it. I mean, he kind of helps facilitate buffs to the rest of the team, call and assist. So overall, he's a great overall character that really kind of gives the rest of the team what it needs and facilitates them to be better in any type of battle situation. So I mean, he's a great character, I think, for both PvE content and arena content.
and the coolest part about Kingpin in this game is like his killing animation. Kingpin busts a flip. He does a backflip. It's pretty funny. That's funny to me.
That's awesome. But that's our number 4 protector in the game. Moving along to number 3. Who do we go with here, Maurice?
Hand Sentry. Now these next 3, these guys are 1A, B, and C. They are all pretty much must-have characters in your kit. And this one is actually a minion. So we'll do a lot of these top 5s. We'll probably start off with a pretty standard, protector, go through all the classes. There'll be very, very, very few minions that make these. But this guy is just so fantastic. Decent damage on his basic attack, 300% damage. But his smoke bomb, it's not a taunt. It's just like a passive taunt. Apply stealth to all allies except for himself for 2 turns, and then you apply evade to 4 of those allies. So that's pretty incredible. Not only do you stealth them, they can't be targeted, but AOE attacks, like let's say, like in Blitz, you face a lot of Punishers, a lot of big AOE damage, like Iron Man. If you time this right, you can just like Quake. Just think of all the AOE. Yondu won't hit them with their stealth, but all the AOEs, if you time the stealth properly and the evade, they'll just whiff, and it's pretty incredible. I'm actually seeing him a lot. I peep at the top few teams in my arena every so often, and there's a lot of hand sentries in the top 50 right now, which I found pretty incredible. And then he's also, much like Captain America, he's got a 15% block chance, and he gains an additional 10% damage. Just great, fantastic with the hand team. He's kind of difficult to get out of that raid store. There's so much in there to buy. I think he does have an in-game node on the one I haven't quite gotten to yet, but just a great character, usable at 1 star. I mean, that's you just used him for his gimmick, his smoke bomb. 1-2 star, you get it done with him. One of the martial arts you were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
Martial artist.
yeah. No, he's again a very simple character, like you said. He's a minion, so very rarely are you going to see a minion in this game actually reach this kind of level of gameplay. But he is one of those characters that's kind of an under the radar character that'll get used in arena and can be a very viable option at high level gameplay. So I mean, he's somebody that with that smoke bomb, like you said, can evade, and much like, I guess, if you had to compare it to a character in Galaxy Heroes, much like R2D2 can kind of taunt the rest, kind of basically passively taunt by stealthing the rest of the team, and then apply evade to those characters as well to help them avoid any AOE attacks. So yeah, absolutely a fantastic character all around. His damage is pretty decent with his basic attack, and he does have a unique that increases his block chance and his damage as well. So overall, a pretty simple kit, but very effective and can be used in a lot of different squad compositions. So he's a character that can benefit you like the others in PvE content and arena content, for sure. But that's our number 3 protector in the game. Moving on to number 2. And who we have here is actually the current Blitz character, Drax.
Yes. Regarded as probably the best raid tank. The only instance of pre-taunt we really have in the game starts the match with taunt. Loses, taunts for the whole turn. And then when he gets his turn, he has the option to taunt again if you wish, or he can heal himself if he really got pounded on. Oh man, such a good character. Really easy to farm out of the arena store. It's pretty much him or Quake. I mean, I don't know who else you'd start the game off farming. I mean, one of those two. You can't go wrong either way. They're both good options. Like I said, he's got a drain. We talked about Thanos. He also has a drain mechanic in his, I believe, Good Fighting is the name of it. At level 6, it's a 270% damage with a 40% drain, and then you can chain it to 1 to 5 adjacent targets for 210 damage and 40% drain. So that's a lot of health you can get back when you max that ability out. And his taunt itself, when you max it out, it's much like Luke Cage, where you get a taunt, and then you get 1 or 2 counters, and you also get defense up for 1 or 2. And defense up is a very important buff in this game, especially for Blitz. Any game mode, defense up is pretty important, unlike other games we've played in the past. Defense up actually does its purpose. And then
is he the only character that has pre-taunt in the game?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, having a pre-taunt obviously makes him a tremendous character. I mean, when pre-taunt was added to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, that kind of changed the meta in arena because you had to now basically take this character out first before you could attack any of the other opponents, and that is kind of the same case here. I mean, with Drax, you're stuck attacking a guy who doesn't take a ton of damage because of his his strong health pool, and he also has really good abilities to kind of counter any attacks that he gets as well. So, and like you said, he has an area of effect attack that can, sort of hit. Well, it's not an area of effect attack, but essentially it is with the ability to attack up to 5 adjacent targets. And he also drains those targets as well, so he gains back health on top of that. So again, he's a character who's going to constantly be regaining health, taunting, and really can cause a lot of mischief. Definitely one of the best tanks in the game, and his damage is not too high, but again, he's got a lot of utility, so he's a viable character also in any option in this game. Great character for raids, and also a fantastic character for PvP. So he's a great character all around, and somebody that you should be getting because he's a very easy character to attain. Like Maurice said, you can get him out of the arena shipments, and that's the same area where you're going to get your Quake and your, I believe it's Crossbone shards too. Not Crossbones. It's Quake and who's the other character there?
I think Daredevil's in there, isn't he? Hold on, yeah, Daredevil, and then
Daredevil.
Hand Archer is pretty good, but I don't think you need to go after him right away. That's real long term. You probably want to snag him.
My recommendation there would be to go for Quake first and then go for Drax second. Obviously, it's going to depend on the rest of the characters that you have. If you already have like Black Widow and some other characters, you may want to reverse that and go for Drax first. But eventually, as more of the Guardians characters become available in the game, like Star-Lord, Groot, and Rocket Raccoon, characters like this are going to become essential, and their synergy is fantastic. So, if you were able to somehow at some point put together a full Guardians team, they could be OP. So, yeah, I mean, he's a great character all around, and definitely worth a listing here at number 2. But moving along to our number 1 protector in Marvel Strike Force, and we have none other than Captain America himself, the first Avenger. So, why do we go with him here?
Just well, he is the best tank in the game, in my opinion. Spams a lot of ability energy, AOE defense up, relatively quick for a tank. He can get up the defense up pretty quickly, much quicker than some of these other tanks. He's got a whole lot of chaining, or not a whole lot, 30% chance to chain, and then 50% chance to gain defense up for himself on his basic. And his taunt, when you hit it at level 6, it gain taunt and defense up, apply defense up to 10 allies. So this is an ability you could use with a couple summoners and get a lot of those little minions in there, or maybe some of the campaign missions where you have the little helpers that the game gives you. It'll apply to them as well. And then he grants 1 ability energy to 1 to 2 Avenger allies, and then additional ability energy to 1 to 2 other random allies. So, like, you use them in arena, and that's you can get your Quake off first round. You can get your Crossbones off, your Yondu's arrow. You can get all these massive AOE damage attacks. Iron Man has a great chance to get at least 2 ability energy out of the deal. Just get those big ultimates off really, really quick and just decimate the team. So shield throw, it not only dispels, it clears two positive effects, I believe at level 6. Yeah, 2 positive effects, and then chains. So and it clears the positive effects off them too. And then also he's got a massive block chance in his kit, 25% block chance, 5% block amount, and then an additional 5% block chance per Avenger ally. The only knock maybe on on Captain America is that the AI always throws the shield first. So you're going to win the majority of any sort of mirror match because you have the advantage where you can inspire and taunt and give all the ability energy a turn before the other team does. So that's the only knock I really have on him. The rest of his kit is just phenomenal. He's just a great, great tank. Two nodes to farm him out of. We mentioned that pack that the game gives you at the very beginning. And I would be shocked if there's not something coming here in the next day or two in terms of another deal for him. So,
well, hopefully there is, because I would love to buy another Captain America pack, and he is like you said, a fantastic all-around character with the shield throw, being able to dispel positive effects, and attack multiple targets with pretty decent damage. His basic attack also gives him a chance for defense up, and being that he's a tank, that's a huge positive buff to have. Inspire obviously grants ability energy to his allies, and there's a huge bonus for Avenger allies to be teamed up with him as well. Also applies defense up for three allies, and taunt and he's got pretty much the best tank kit in the game, like you said, and uh, again, when coupled with some other Avenger allies, only gets a little bit better. And as we add more Avengers to the game, again, Iron Man coming into this game is going to be a tremendous character to add with Captain America. Their synergy is fantastic. As you've seen, they have an ability to work together, and they have an attack that they do where Iron Man can shoot sort of a fire stream off of Captain America's shield against the other squad. It's an area of effect attack, so that's definitely a cool synergy to have if you're going to be getting Iron Man this week. So Captain America is definitely somebody you're going to want to have with Iron Man, and on top of that, they're going to gain all those Avenger bonuses together. And as we get more characters in the game, obviously there's going to be more Avengers as well, and he's always going to be a relevant character because he is probably one of the faces of Marvel, period, and just a fantastic character all around. Definitely a character that you should go for, and probably again somebody you can get to a higher level pretty easily with some of the farming of the higher level nodes, but he's going to take a little while to get there. So you start off the game, you're going to have to definitely defeat some battles, and I believe he has two nodes, right? The second node is very hard to beat.
Yeah, the second node is where you just fight Ultimus alone.
Right.
Did 20 energy too for you to go in there and experiment around on it. So
I haven't even gotten there. So I mean, like that second node is going to be pretty hard to defeat. But again, once you get there, if you do defeat that, he's a character you're going to be able to get up fairly quickly and worth the whatever it is, 160 energy or 180 energy that you're going to be spending a day to farm this character because
for sure.
He's definitely somebody you want to get done ASAP. So, absolutely great character to have at number one and the best protector in the game. But honorable mention, we didn't have one last week, but it goes without saying that this character definitely deserves a bit of this conversation here. And that is Crossbones. Why is he our honorable mention, Maurice?
Well, it's not that he's the sixth best protector. It's just that he is an offense-oriented protector, which is pretty unique. Detonate. Detonate. Like, really, the only time I personally taunt with Crossbones is after he detonates, has a couple death proofs on him just to eat some damage. Like, I never taunt first with him because I don't want him to get hit. I don't want him to die.
Right, you want him to survive too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Detonate is just massive AoE damage. He hurts himself too, but who cares? After he blows up, he's really kind of useless anyway. I'm trying to get the exact number. Mine is actually at level 6. Level 6, it's 430% damage to self and all enemies. And then when we do get that eventual level cap increase where you can take it to gear level 7, it's 510% damage to all allies. That's insane. He's got, he has a max health and max armor unique. He gets 15% health. Hydra allies gain 5 armor. That includes himself. Gets some counter on his taunt. For the raids, it's not bad. His taunt's not bad. If you don't really have much of a move, you can just taunt and heal your Crossbones up 15% just for free. Because, you're not going to use the taunt probably at the start of the next match. And then he's got offense down as basic, which is pretty handy.
It also depends on how high level your Crossbones is. I mean, if you have, like, let's say a 6-star Crossbones with all of his gear maxed out to gear like 11 or something like that, then you have some room to play with there. You can taunt with him and he's going to survive. If you have a kind of lower level Crossbones, you're really just kind of have him in there for that detonate. So you want him to survive, and you're going to probably want to avoid using that taunt so that he doesn't die rapidly. But when you do have the health pool to kind of use that taunt, he does do a decent amount of damage with his counterattacks and can kind of slowly wither away your opponents with these small basic attacks countering with his taunt, and can be a great kind of second taunt, especially in PvE content like raids, like you said, and protect some of your higher damage allies like your Gamoras and your Black Widows and Black Panthers and your Yondus and characters like that you don't want to have see take any damage. He'll be kind of a protector for them. Thus the protector tag, and that wraps it up for our top 5 protectors this week, courtesy of good old Maurice and Ramona Zob. Hope you guys liked that. Definitely leave us a like if you like the top 5. We're going to do another top 5 next week. That'll be a surprise. But we did top 5 brawlers last week, top 5 protectors this week, so you can guess where we're going next week.